Hello everyone, Felsis45 here with a hardware review for all my fellow turbo nerds. The star of the show today is the Noctua NH-C14 CPU heatsink. For those of you that build your own rigs, you've probably heard of Noctua before. They've been praised with some of the best fans on the market. Quiet, long-lasting, and efficient are all words that are synonymous with Noctua. My first Noctua fan was purchased back in 2006, and it's been silent and smooth ever since. So when I decided it was time for a new heatsink, I was eager to try Noctua. At under 80 bucks, it made it a very easy decision. I have an Intel i5 2500K CPU, and I am ashamed to admit that I use the stock heatsink. I never overclocked, which makes this a little less embarrassing, but I was missing out on a lot of potential power. The 2500K is capable of much higher speeds than what it's originally set to, and I was afraid that the stock cooler couldn't handle an OC'd chip. Just look at the size of the stock cooler. I've put a can of soda next to it to give you kind of an idea of how big it is. Now look at the same can of soda next to the C14. Before I get ahead of myself, I want to cover what's included. First off, a bag of common parts, which includes anti-vibration mounting pegs, size adapters, a solid metal Noctua plaque with adhesive backing, fan screws, NT-H1 thermal grease, 2 low noise adapters, 2 ultra low noise adapters, and a fan splitter. The low noise adapter, or the LNA cable, provides more resistance, slowing the RPMs. With no adapter, the fan spins at about 1200 RPM, moving 110 cubic meters per hour, which is 64 cubic feet per minute, also known as CFM if you're new to the whole techie thing. At 1200 RPM, it runs at about 19 decibels, which isn't bad. The LNA cable lowers the RPM to about 900. CFM lowers to about 49, and decibels go all the way down to 13. The ULNA cable lowers everything even further, 750 RPM, 42 CFM, and only 10 decibels. Now I know that's a lot of nerd stats there, but the point is that they're very quiet for the amount of air they can move. It also comes with mounting brackets for AMD and Intel Mobos, as well as a strange looking Phillips head screwdriver. So let's take a look at the heatsink itself. First off, it's pretty massive. This can be a good and bad thing. It offers superior cooling even with the LNA cables in use, but because of its sheer size, you're probably going to be limited to your fan options. What do I mean by that? Well, the fans can be removed from the cooler. Here's a graphic showing the options. All the others I've seen online are running in high clearance mode out of necessity. The lower fan will probably be hitting your RAM or motherboard cooling blocks. For exact measurements, I've included this image on the box, and there will be a link in the description to the image in case you need more time. I'm hoping it might help you make an educated decision on whether you want this device or not. To be honest, having to remove one of the fans isn't really that big of a deal. They're each 140mm in size and have mounting brackets of 120mm, so they fit most standard 120mm spots. I should mention that the fans use an SSO bearing that provides durability. For more on SSO bearings, check the description for an article. Anyway, I chose to throw the extra fan in the case window to make my rig look a little more industrial. Plus, I hate leaving a Noctua fan out to collect dust. Removing a fan is easily done. Simply push down on the metal clip to unhook it. The rest of the installation is pretty basic. I'm using this on an existing PC, so I had to remove my motherboard to get access to the back of it. The bracket has a nice rubber backing that ensures tight grip with minimal vibrations. Here's a picture of a mistake I made. I had just put the mounting brackets on, but the CPU wasn't in, so I couldn't lift the LGA clip, so I couldn't get the CPU in its slot, so I had to remove the brackets. Point is, place your CPU in the slot before installing the brackets. I probably should have taken a look at the illustrated manual before I got started. Moving on, we see why it includes this strange looking screwdriver. You push this in between the fan blades and the heatsink to access screws used to secure the heatsink to the mounting brackets. This is a strange method to me, but it works very well. Noctua's cream design has always been one of my favorites, and it also does the job. After overclocking my i5 to around 5 GHz, it runs at an idle temp around 30 degrees Celsius and 70 degrees Celsius under load. I don't consider myself a real overclocker, but I can imagine this would fit the needs of some of those who are more daring to push their CPU further. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you have any questions or just want to let me know what you thought of the heatsink, drop a comment below, and I will catch you later.